Welcome, everyone. Good to have you here. You might have asked yourself why I'm so obsessed with the emotional aspect, why I'm hyping it up all the time. And I'm really the odd one out, I'd say, because the majority of speakers or therapists, they do focus on the power of the mind, and the power of the mind is incredible. I would not want to diminish that. You know, there's a reason why I'm so focused on this emotional aspect. And I'd like to show you. I'd like to invite you to a short exercise and just come up with a belief you hold about yourself that is negative. And as you are now sitting with this belief, just reflecting upon it, noticing it, just feel into it. And now turn it around. Make it be the complete opposite. So it becomes something positive. And I'd like you now to sit with it for a moment and also repeat it in your mind. And as you're repeating it, what do you notice now? So for sure, there's a shift in the way how you're perceiving it. But I'd like you also to tell me, do you really trust that it's the truth for you? Do you really believe it? I see that there's the difference. I mean, it's the emotional charge this belief carries. And just as an example, if someone believes they're a good person, it's automatically that it's like the heart is swelling up and they're feeling good about themselves. They carry themselves differently. And if they believe the opposite, if they believe they're a bad person, it's like they're shrinking and they are feeling heavy and there's a low self-esteem and so on. But if you would tell this person to repeat the positive version of the belief 1,000,000 times, do you think they would change the belief towards themselves? Do you think it would work for you if you just repeat the positive version? And most likely it doesn't work because it's more than just the belief. It's more than just what the mind is telling you. There's something additional to it. And just have a thought about a neutral belief, something neutral. I mean, it's very difficult. I did not come up with any neutral belief. So, but if you maybe find one that is neutral for you, and someone is telling you something opposite about that, some opposite information, for example, would you adjust the belief? And that's most likely the case because as long as we have no emotional attachment to a belief, it's easy for us to change it and to adapt to it. And there's a flexibility within that. But we lose this flexibility as soon as we are having this kind of attached emotional state to it. And I'd like to spin this aspect to an extreme, even going further down the road, making you aware that this emotional attachment can even override a rational belief that we hold, can become so powerful that it's even acting against our mind. And that's the fascinating aspect. And that's the reason why I really believe that it's very crucial for us to slowly shift our awareness, also to recognize what's going on with the emotional aspect. And there's this fascinating example out there. Maybe some of you heard of it already. The book is named What Makes Killers Kill by Jonathan Pincus, and he was interviewing serial killers. And if you read through this book, you might notice that many of them were talking about their childhood and how they experienced similar things like they did to their victims later on. And this does not justify any behavior, absolutely not. But this is a prime example of why emotional charge can be so powerful. And the unfortunate thing is, they were not asked whether they thought it's morally okay to kill someone. So we don't know whether this is their belief or not. Most likely, there were some amongst them that actually held the belief that it's wrong to kill someone, but they did it nevertheless. There was this urge, and this urge was too strong, too powerful. Yet no one is asking, where is this urge coming from? Where is this driver coming from? The suppressed emotion forces itself to the surface and acts out in a very unconscious way. And that's always troublesome, because this means when we are losing the steering wheel, something else is taking over, and it's the emotional aspect. I'd like to also share this with you because I went through these challenges myself. When I was pregnant with my son, I wanted to be the best mom ever. And as the best mom, I wanted to do things differently from what I have experienced them. So I was reading tons of books. I enjoyed reading all those books, and they were so beautiful about attachment parenting, about bonding, about how to raise your child in the most harmonious, natural way. And it sounded so beautiful, so perfect. But as soon as my son was born, it was as if I was reliving my own childhood, and everything that I was not facing was boiling underneath. And I was really trying to sort everything out with my rational mind, and it did not work. You can only suppress so much, but if it's really too much, it's just the system says no. It's just the system is sort of exploding, and these emotions are making their way out, and most likely not in a very likable way, in a very positive way. But whenever we observe ourselves like losing the steering wheel and losing the control, this means that something else is boiling underneath, which actually is the solution or is the answer to whatever is messing up our life. But yeah, that's just my take. And I know I might sound a bit repetitive in regards to that, but really, this is so often the case that we feel so guilty for our behavior, which is not perfect. And we really, I mean, it's absolutely good that we feel not good about hurtful behavior towards others. But there's also a compassion needed towards ourselves, and a wish, an urge to understand what is really driving us, what is making us behave that way. Therefore, I mean, I know a lot of people out there, they're still in this kind of cycle and finding no way out. But there's always a solution and there's always a way out. But it means we need to look at exactly these aspects that we're trying to run away from. So, yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope I could share my point of view a bit. And I'd love to hear your take on it. Let me know in the comments down below. Happy to hear from you. And goodbye for now.